Hi and welcome to PowerÄgg. For this video we will look at the workaround solution to part 1 where we received an error for a specific user role when trying to access row level security or object level security protected data. Let's have a look at the workaround solution. For this we have created a landing page in Power BI where we can switch user, for example the Power User role, and see only the Power User role page we can navigate to. In this example we can see the color column. Now if we switch back to the home page and we view as Germany user, we're only supposed to see the Germany user page. So if we click go and navigate to, the color column will not be visible. Step 1. Let's add the data we need to the table. That includes the KPI profit margin, the customer country, the product category, and the color. Then we will have to duplicate the page and rename it. Once that's done, let's remove the column we want to hide from the user role. And finally, let's hide the necessary report pages.
Alright, here we are in Power BI and I've already created a landing page, which is a home page. Then I've created a row level and object level security page for the Power user that will show all the fields we need. So let's rename this quickly to Power user. Perfect. And now we'll add the data to the table. So the first thing we want is the country from the contours or customer table. Then we want to go to the product. We want to see the category and the color. And then finally, let's add the KPI measure with the profit margin. Wonderful. So for the Power user, we want him or her to see all the columns. However, for the Germany user, we want to add row level security and object level security so that that user is not allowed to see the country for anything but Germany and not allowed to see the color column. So let's duplicate the page. Let's call this Germany user. Lovely. And let's remove the color column. So we have all the columns that we need. As a final step, we will hide the columns, which I've already done, but just in case you haven't, make sure you hide the the tables from the report.
Step 2. Let's create a page navigation table. We will do this by going to Home, Add Data, and then add a column with all the page names. Then we will add a column with the user role name, and then add a sort column. Then we will have to make a page slicer add a page slicer to the home page. This will be a chiclet slicer from the marketplace, from the AppSource marketplace. Then we will add a selected page measure for the navigation button, add the navigation button to the home page, and then test the page navigation solution.
Alright, here we are back in Power BI. And the first step is to create a navigation button. So let's go to Home, enter data, let's click that. Nice, and now we have a column 1. Let's rename this to page name. Let's add the page names, which is RLS and S Power user. Make sure you spell this exactly the same way as the page is spelled, otherwise it won't work. And then the second page, RLS and OLS Germany user. User role. So let's say the Power user is supposed to see the Power user page and the Germany user the Germany page. And then finally we will add a sort column. This is for the slicer, so that when we add the items to the slicer, it will appear in a certain order. Click here, 1, 2, let's rename this to page navigation table, and then load. Alright, so let's go to the home page. On the home page, let's add the chiclet slicer. The navigation. Let's add the fields to the chiclet slicer, which is the page name. And let's make this bigger so we can edit it a bit. All right, let's format this a little bit. So we don't want a header. We want a forced selection. This is why we are using a chiclet slicer, because if you use a normal slicer, it won't force a selection necessarily between the users if they switch and they see a different view from previously. We turn off multi-selection. We go to chiclets. I'm going to choose a gray color as a background. I'll click on the outline color to be the same. And then finally, let's use square. And we do not want a background. Let's change that quickly. Just trying to figure out where this is. Here we are, background off. Okay, perfect. Okay, the next step is to add a measure. So let's click on the measure table we created for organization. Click on new measure, call this selected page navigation. And we will just use the selected value text expression for the page name. So depending on what is selected, this expression will give you the right page name. Great. Now we go on insert button. We go on a blank button, the best button there is. And we click on action, page navigation. We can use conditional formatting. So let's go and select the measure we have, page navigation measure. Perfect. All right, let's format this a little bit so that we have text, which should say go. And there it is. Okay, wait. We have on hover go. We want default mode to say go. Okay, perfect. And in default mode, we do not want a border, nor do we want it on hover, so that's fine. Okay, and we can change this a little bit so that there is an effect. When you hover over it, we could say that we add a fill color. No, not a fill color. We perhaps change the font. We make it bigger and we make it bold. Okay, that's fine. Nothing special. So let's test the solution. When we have row level security and object level security for the power user selected, we should be able to directly go to the power user page. So let's click that. And that works. That's perfect. Let's go back and test the same thing for the German user. And we go to the Germany page. That's great.
Step 3. Let's define the row level security for the Germany user and the power user. Then we have to test the solution via view roles.
All right, back in Power BI, let's create the row level security and the roles. So let's go to modeling, manage roles, create the power user role, then the Germany user role. And for the power user, we want the user to see all the rows, but just in case, all the rows and columns. So let's just select one, just in case. And on the page navigation table, we have to say that the user role is equal to the power user. We'll check if this works. This is now fine. So we will save. And this was unnecessary, but just in case, I saved a middle step. Okay, let's go back to the Germany user role. And here we'll need to set the role level security as well, and the object level security. So let's say Germany user equals 1, and on the page navigation table, oops, there's a mistake. And on the page navigation table, we will say user role equals Germany user. Okay, let's save this. Just to be sure, let's check quickly the user role names. Yes, I said Germany user. Okay, perfect, this works. All right, lovely. So let's test the solution. We will go to the German user. I'll click view as Germany user. We should only see the German data. Perfect. And also, the Germany user should only see the Germany user page link. And this is beautiful. And you can see that this is selected automatically because we have the chiclet slicer and we have a forced selection. So that if we click go now, we will go to the Germany page where only the Germany data is seen and the column is missing. And if we go view as power user, we should only see the power user. And again, you can see that it's selected, so that's great. And we save a click for the user, so we only have to click go. And it will show all the rows and the color column. So this solution is fine so far. However, let's check back again what we need to do, because there's another step for the security.
Step 4. Now we have to define the object level security for Germany user and power user. We have to open Tabular Editor, navigate to the column, and set the object level security to none. Then we have to test the solution.
Okay, back in Power BI, step 4, let's create the object level security. And we will again go to External Tools, Tabular Editor, open Tables, go to the Product table, go to Color, and scroll down to see the object level security, and the Germany user should not see color. Okay, let's save this, close this, and let's test it by going to the power user who can see everything, and go on modeling, view as Germany user, and this should throw an error. And if we go back to the page, we should see our page. Perfect. We did this just in case, because if the power user decides to share their link to the report page with the Germany user, theoretically, just by hiding the pages and using the role level security workaround, the German user would still be able to see all the data. And to avoid this, we set the object level security, and this way we have a risk-free environment regarding data for the user security roles. Okay, perfect. This looks lovely. So let's review quickly the solution. View as Germany, German page, go, perfect, works, lovely.
All right, let's brainstorm the solution a little bit. We found that for the solution that we can't use a page navigation button that is offered by Microsoft Power BI because it doesn't allow you to add row level security to the page list. It also doesn't allow you to conditionally hide or show pages. The navigation page and row level security needs to be maintained at all times. Page and field data have to be identical, so that's a bit of a drag in terms of maintenance. And every page with object level security needs to be duplicated for each user role. So that's a big hassle because the report will blow up in size and will have tons of pages if there's a lot of user roles in the business. And then if a report page by the power user is still shared by any chance with the German user, the page will still throw an error and this will look unprofessional. And finally, the navigation slicer does not force select the value, and so we had to use the chicklet slicer. Thank you for watching this video, and for the next video we will find the best, most super optimal solution when we combine row level security with object level security.